Just getting ready to slide the motor in. Got the radius sport all taken off. We're probably gonna have to jack the car up though because the motor's a lot higher than the car. So we just got the tranny mount bolted up. We're gonna be doing this one next. One problem we did have though was with the tranny and the subframe. Right down there, we had to smash like the pinch weld on the subframe to make clearance for the tranny. We might need more clearance, but we did that right now and it seems to be working. But once we line up this, we'll know if we need to hit it a little more. We just used a hammer. We looked into it and some people actually cut it, but we didn't want to cut it, so we just hit it with a hammer and it bent it in fine. So that's one thing you're gonna have to do, but other than that, it's going in pretty good. No radiator support makes it a lot easier. Just rolled it in on the cart. So we're gonna finish getting this other mount bolted up and then take the cart out and see how everything fits. We got the motor all bolted in. We ended up putting the T-bracket in too, just so we got the angle of the motor right. But, yeah, everything's good. The clearance back here is perfect. The ground clearance is actually pretty good. We're just going to be bolting up the traction bars right now. Probably make radiator mounts on the traction bar and cut the bottom half of the radiator support out. But I don't know if he's going to do that yet, but we're going to be test fitting the radiator and everything right now. Alright, so we just test fitted the radiator support and we're definitely going to have to cut it because we need more clearance. So we're just going to cut like straight from here down on both sides. Alright, what are we cutting then?
We're notching it all the way out over here.
Alright, so we're gonna cut like this on both sides now because we need more clearance. We're just gonna be using the traction bar for mounts and stuff, so we're gonna cut this real quick and then test fit it.
Swift Day.
We ran into a couple complications with the radiator, but we ended up just getting rid of the whole headlight bucket on the driver's side. We're going to be cutting it like over here or something on that side and notching the headlight. So we just got the radiator all mounted. We ended up using hood hinges to make little brackets at the bottom. We'll probably trim those. And then another thing we did have to do though for clearance was stack a bunch of washers in between the body and the track bar. That gave us more hood clearance since the radiator was in the way for the hood. But we're still going to have to trim the hood a little bit. We're just going to be trimming right there where the hood latch normally goes. He has these little mounts for hood pins on both sides, so he doesn't need a hood latch. The other thing that we're going to run into eventually is the driver's side headlight. We pushed the radiator over all the way towards the driver's side. So we're going to have to well, this is just an example. So on the other side we're going to have to notch the whole back of the light out and cut all this. But he will still have low beams, just not high beams. So the radiator is pretty much mounted. We're going to be making a little mount for the top coming from this bolt hole right onto here. So the radiator is in place though. And soon we're going to be finishing up with this so we can pull the motor out and paint the engine bay. Another thing that we have to mock up for the swap before we paint it is going to be the headers, since we're using the stock RSX headers. They're actually almost clear, so we're just going to be heating them up with torches and then bending them a little bit. It's probably like a centimeter of a difference. They barely come in contact with the subframe. That's them in there right now. So we're just going to bend them a little bit, or you can buy K-swap headers if you want, but we're trying to use everything that we have instead of spending money, so